Yeah.
Yeah.
When he said they refer to me, she refers to me, is what you were meaning there, mate.
That's what
You
I
know,
think.
it's myself and Jerry. Similar thumb there, son.
What?
Hey, look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, see?
Checking that.
I was trying to explain to Neil that he is secretly a ginger. And I was like, it's just me and you. Just tell me the truth, man. And he's like, no.
Not that kind of party, Ray, unfortunately. I'd love to adverts just come on. We're clearly live. That's how we roll. No, Jerry knows I'm not ginger. It's all about the grey for me.
Yeah.
I'm secretly badger. That's what I am. Live chat up. And we will wait. I think Mr. Paul Linn is joining us for the first hour as well. Why is there no live chat? There we go.
I'm going to go find my stand.
You're going to find a comfortable seat there, Jerrington?
Yeah, grab a stand.
Go on, son. So I'll just do the formal intro as we like to do. Actually, no, I'll just let the White Hawk in first. And then I'll fire away. Open the widget. What is this frigging widget thing that now comes up? Is that? Hopefully that makes my Wi-Fi a little bit better. Look at that, look. At Paul Linn's house, the camera lens is even steamed up. He's so hot.
What's going on, Neil?
I'm all right, mate. How are you doing?
I can't complain.
Lovely darts. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Fix. Show 151. It's 151 shows, guys.
That's crazy.
Like
that look.
Genadi won.
Now, I got to say that Ray, if we're having a skincare thing on here, you are clearly technically proficient, Ray, and the rest of us are not that much. Especially Jerry.
I'm just 12.
Ray's proficient?
Yeah, he looks like he's been using a bit of suntan lotion, which is incidentally what I should have done today. Oh, shadow.
I actually do.
What factor do you use, Ray?
I just go and I say, I want to keep looking like this. And
yeah.
Well, he's got to use it. He looks like he's albino.
Oh, Jerry, shut up.
No need for that, is there? Tell you what. And Jerry's even gone with a white vest to give the contrast.
He makes Elmer's glue look tan.
I'm pretty tan. It's just this light. It's just this light. It's
that actually, mate. I think you've got an angle there. That's what it is. Because I'll give you that.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gents, lots going on in the world of arm wrestling this week. Everybody will have seen the news by now, I'm assuming, that another match is being added to the King of the Table. Quite an interesting one. Corey West and Ayrton Morozov. You seen these guys? Because I know it's Mother's Day today in the States, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
So somebody you may have already known about that. Were you already aware that match was coming, guys? I was not.
Yep.
Okay. Who you got, Paul Linn?
I mean, listen, Artem Morozov is a tall task for anybody, but I am 100% backing Corey. I know his head's in a good space, so I'm rooting for him hard. That's my guy.
His head's in a fucking big space, mate. That's the head. That's where his head is. That is a big man with a big head. You wouldn't like him a nutting competition, would you? He's serious. And he was very impressive, actually. Joking aside, very impressive at his last outing.
Yep.
I felt. But this is like you say, it is that step up in class, isn't it?
Just the number one, man. It's the number one guy.
Perceived as the guy. Widely perceived. Let's just go there for a minute. So, Jerry, all this who's the number one in the world thing. Obviously, we've got Levant sits atop of the mountain, but right there in that chasing pack, we're getting enough examples now of this guy beats that guy then beats this guy. How do you see that? Do you have it sort of any man on any given day?
Yeah, I mean, I like to see myself up there, right? And got to prove it as we go along the way. So taking out Hermes is the next step to solidify that position.
And it sounds like you're very confident in that task, mate. I know we had Dev over here in the Dark Card 2, the Arm Wars Dark Card 2 last week. We had Devon over all week, and we talked about yourself and Hermes a lot. And also we talked about just the general resurgence of the press. Flop wrist, which, previously wasn't even a move. Then you brought it out, made it legal, Jerry. From the concrete form carry to the World Championship titles. And now it's becoming trendy. Everybody's a flopper. Everybody's developing it. There was a stage where everybody was going into King's move. Do you think we're going to see a lot of guys trying to emulate what you do, mate, or is it just a little bit too dangerous?
I don't know. I mean, I see them doing it, so it's pretty cool. The Hermes was doing it against Levon, Genadi doing it against Devon. It seems to be another tool that people are putting in their tool belt. So I wouldn't encourage using it a lot. It hurts.
Yeah. I mean, you don't take your own advice on that one, Jerry. Let's be honest, mate. You get into the weirdest positions.
Yeah, but that's because everyone wants to pull outside, right? No one wants to man up and just go inside. So when they go and roll outside, and I feel comfortable because it gives me from here to here, right? Because when they go to turn their hand this way, and it gives my wrist from this position to this position, it's got to be 10 degrees, right? So as long as I can follow that 10 degrees with my shoulder, then for me, it feels like a no-lose situation.
And we're going to come back into that and the whole heavyweight scene, but I can't have Paul Linn on this show. He's only on for the first hour, as is Julio Rolio. But we feel like this little affinity, I feel, speaking on behalf of Ray, but I'm sure he'll chime in a minute, either to take the piss or just to endorse this. I was very, very proud of you, Paul Linn.
Thank you.
Me too.
I thought you were frigging phenomenal, mate, if I'm honest.
That was an awesome moment.
My best,
I'd be better if you won.
I know. Tell me about it.
Talk about
Don't let this slip, Paul. Don't let this slip.
Little bit more in the gas tank and a few wiser decisions probably in round 3.
Hey, Paul, just tell everybody what you told me after the match, mate, in terms of how you've been training for it from the sort of endurance perspective. Just give everybody a bit of insight on that, because that was quite a bit of info you gave me with the manner in which you trained and the insight.
Yeah, I talked to some guys overseas, and they were saying like endurance is going to be key in the match. You need to start doing static holds, like center of the table static holds, the position where the match is going to be, and hold it for 2 minutes, 10 rounds. So we, work with my guys when I'm back home, and use band resistance until I gas, and then to the point where I can't really hold it. So it was extremely grueling, and to think that I did that for basically 6 weeks in prep for this and still didn't have enough endurance is a little daunting. But yeah, I mean, anybody who hasn't done a 2-minute hold in the center of the table with progressively decreasing intensity, I challenge you to do it, because it's enough to make you puke once you get to about the 5th round. So
I'm going to say I have never done that. I've never done 2 minutes flat out. So you're basically doing 2 minutes flat out for as long as you can hold it.
Yeah, and basically, if I'm at the practice, I'm starting out with one of the stronger guys using a band, and decreasing that through that set, and then kind of working my way through the group. And by the end, I mean, the ladies are holding me in the middle of the center for sure, like for real. Like I'm working with my buddy's wife, in the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, we used to do minute hold and then movement. So you'd hold for the minutes hard as you can, static, and then try and pin, or
Yeah. I always try with an end of the whole thing with a finishing drive, but there's usually not much left in the tank.
Yeah, 2 minutes is pretty. You ever done that, Ray? 2 minutes?
It's terrible.
Unbelievable. I might try it.
Not intentionally.
Yeah.
Break 2 minutes at anything.
What have I done
to this guy?
He's just angry because I didn't tell him the score with Devon
Absolutely.
and that thing ended our friendship. Thank you, Neil.
Hey, didn't
you were supposed to call me, and then you blew me off.
You blew Jerry. You blown Jerry Carteret off.
Yeah.
Man, how could you stoop so low?
He would eventually get me to crack. He would eventually. So I was like, I'm not even going to talk with him. I'm like,
He told me he was gonna call me and he was gonna talk to me, and then he just blew me off. It was like, doo-doo-doo. The number you have dialed is no longer taking your messages.
All right, that's what this is about. I knew there was a problem here. I thought, hang on, I can sense this. It's like I've always been perceptive. It's like that time I came home and my wife shouted, "You want you to die," and I thought she's not happy. I've just always had that. Always been there, Ray. Perceptive. But yeah, back to what we were talking about, Paul. I thought you were the outstanding match of the night, pal. If I'm honest, I thought it was the best match.
Again, back to what Jerry said, though. At the end of the day, you got to finish the job. So, I mean, I'm not hanging my head. I'm not upset about the outcome. Huge learning process. The mistakes are so clear now. The choices in the match and the decisions. But Sasha's endurance was unbelievable. And he pulled real smart. A few change ups that I maybe should have laid down for or intentionally fouled. You live and learn. So it was a great experience.
I don't think there was any question that Paul was strong. I got the pleasure of pulling with him like a month and a half ago, and I was recovering, but he felt like a garanimal, right? So I think for that match to go the way it was, that other guy either was fucking Superman hidden or Paul made a couple of mistakes, because there's no one that should have been able to match Paul's strength in that weight class.
I think it was a combination of the two. He felt unreal. His gas tank was great, and he made some smart adjustments. And I was probably in round 3. I was in blackout meathead mode. So it is what it is, though.
After the second round, mate, did you feel like he changed significantly the setup? Because it looked like in the setup he really positioned himself to use that back pressure a lot more.
Added back pressure. My hopes at that point, even feeling it, was like, okay, my side's there. I think I can still finish. And he got a little bit more of a twitch on the go. And, it kind of stopped center. I had a little positive surge. At that point, if I had it all to do again, I would have intentionally fouled or laid down and got a restart. So you live and learn, but, I wound up getting stretched out and pulling where I shouldn't be pulling. And I think it took a little bit too much off. So, I mean, learning process. The fourth round, I was very close to a pin, and I just needed that last little bit that I spent in third.
You're not kidding. You were close to a pin. But anyway, Paul, enough beating about the bush, son. As rematches are the order of the day, I've got a little idea. Yeah. What about this one?
Okay.
So you lost your East versus West title to Sasha Andreev over there in Turkey. What about you come and try and take his Arm Wars title in Arm Wars?
I'm not opposed to that.
Because Sasha was all light heavyweight champion in the Arm Wars Super Series now.
He's been sitting there since Rob, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the guy. And he had the tit injury after Rob. I didn't actually get a chance to talk to Sasha a great deal over there, but I know he was that I did speak to him. He's highly complimentary of you and what you managed to achieve and how close you ran him over there. I think that's probably a unique experience. Certainly, I was trying to think back. Ray, can you think of anyone who has done that to Sasha at that weight class? The only guy I know that has beaten him around, and I think he was heavier, was Todzilla. I know he lost to Zulaev. I know he lost once to...
Not in that kind of slow pull. Just, not when Sasha stops, usually he wins. Yeah, and he didn't. And for those 2 first rounds was just insane. Like, strategy was perfect because Paul went like this. He went over and just grabbed, and he was so away from his shoulder. It was
yeah.
It
was all about maintenance of the height, wasn't it? In that first one.
Yeah, really good. It was insane. Like, we were like, I think the whole event, as much as it was so at the end so one-sided to the east.
Yeah,
everyone was on the edge of their seats for most of the matches, and that one was I think Genadi and Devon was insane. think all things happen. But in that one, I was just looking, everyone just losing their minds. You know,
Yeah.
Paul wins the first one, everyone's a fan. Doesn't matter, you're Georgian or Kazakh, doesn't matter. You're just losing your mind, you know.
I think it's always great in an event where when everybody sees it one way or everybody sees it going a certain way, and they think, and when an arm wrestler comes and they just decide, you know what, I'm going to step up to the plate, I'm going to make a statement. When somebody comes, you know, the first time in a situation, and they come into a match situation. I mean, we've just had the dark card, as I said, the Arm Wars dark card 2 this week, and I can't talk about too much there, but what I would say is, we had a couple of guys that, wow, talk about make a statement, where everybody in the room's like, what the, you know, and if somebody shows up at a gig and a statement is made where they walk away and you're like, no fucking way, it's quite interesting when that happens. And I know there was a couple of guys, in fact, 3 guys, I think, left a real talking point there for different reasons. You were one of them, Paul, because I'm going to say I thought you were an underdog. I think most people, and I mean that with the greatest of respect, it's just that the resume of Sasho is unquestionable.
Absolutely.
The other kid I thought was frighteningly impressive that day was Bacho.
Bacho and Revas, right?
River, what the friggin' hell was going on with the Georgians?
Yeah.
I mean,
weird. So dominant.
Just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And Bacho, let's just talk about him for a minute. Because Bacho was, how strong is that lad?
Oh my goodness. It's hard to even tell. That's the weird part. We didn't get to see him arm wrestle. You know?
No.
Yes.
That's
that impressive. That level of impressiveness. So
truly amazing. It was funny, wasn't it? Because when we were walking around the event a couple of days before, and the Georgian lads were like, almost had this swag about them, like, yeah, we know something you don't know. Check this out. Talk about that. I remember I came out downstairs and Rolly's like, yeah, the hype is real. Like, you're not kidding. Who the hell would you match him against? I mean, who do you throw his way, Paul?
I don't even know. I don't know. We're going to have to wait to see what Engen does. I'm assuming he's probably going to be on the July card. I mean, it's not like he took any damage. So
where would you put him though? Who wants that match now?
I mean, nobody wants it. You know what I mean? Like, because here's the deal. Like, you're getting ready for this guy and you have 0 film to prepare. Okay, we have 3 flash pins that are basically just side pressure with a little bit of back pressure. No, nothing. And then really nothing before that since he was 14 years old. So how do you really prepare? So it's a tricky match. I think if you're going to make the match, you definitely need to make the match with somebody who is very savvy in the setup and who has the ability to get to the straps and load. If you don't, I think that, you know, in hindsight, looking at the Adam match, I think his game plan, talking to him prior, really kind of fed into what Bacho was doing. And how do you prepare for Bacho? You know, you set your best move, which is, you know, his internal rotation and side pressure. And that kind of played right in to Bacho's, you know, back pressure and side pressure hit into his hand. So like in hindsight's 2020, but I would have liked to seen at least one match go to the strap just so we have some data. Yeah. But the dude looks unbelievable.
It really does. And it's fun. Oh, we're just at a super chat come up. GB19 for you, Rollies. Just put, Ray, weren't you curious to arm wrestle Anatoly?
I don't know who is this Anatoly.
It's this guy who goes around the gym. He makes personal trainers look, you know, at him again. And
you don't follow him on Instagram, Ray? It's hilarious, dude.
I was in his video.
Did you not know, Paul? You know he nailed Ray, don't you?
I don't even know. I'm lost.
Oh, mate, yeah.
I'm the one who just found out.
Bob Brown called me. He's like, hey, I'm watching this guy's videos. And he's like, what the hell? That was funny.
Mika and the Savage are apparent. White Wolf, my dude, is in the chat. He's just put, Neil, you got a couple of dead set leg ends in the chat that pulled the SoCal Classic yesterday in burner matches. I have not seen Mika's. Yet. Don't tell me what happened in Mika's match, but I'm assuming he's must have done well. That one. But I did see John Terrians against Dallas. That flashed up 20 minutes before I came on here. And I saw
I didn't
that.
get to
That
watch
was a
that
very
match,
good
but
performance.
that's super impressive for John.
Oh, mate. Very good.
It was a 3-2, so I'm assuming it was a war. I didn't get to see it yet, but I didn't think he had a chance to go.
Well, the adjustments were great. I you know, he got stopped in the first one in the strap, and it looked like he was going to be in trouble. And early on he was struggling, but the adjustments were great. Moved to the top roll in the strap, super aggressive, very, very good, very good. And congratulations, John. John's a bad dude, the original Savage, mate. Strong.
Well,
boy.
I mean, he was coming off that loss to Stephen Logston at the Monster Factory, and I was starting to question a little bit. So, I mean, it's interesting. You see a guy take a loss to somebody that you might not think that they would, and then come back and have a war and, you know, out arm wrestle one of the best guys in that weight class in this country. I don't think there's an argument that Dallas is one of the top guys at that weight. So that's a super impressive feather in the cap for him for sure.
Funny, the right across the world at the moment, it's great time for arm wrestling. It really is. I mean, I think it was 3-1. I want to say, because I believe he only lost the first pin that I saw, but I need to watch it back. Maybe it was 3-2.
John, what was the left-handed match? Was that closer?
I haven't seen the left. I've only seen the right arm match, but I'll watch it back. I think it was 3-1 though. Yeah, I saw him lose the first one. And then after that,
3-1. It was 3-1 with right arm. Yeah.
Yep, 3-1. Let's have a look. Make sure I'm caught up on this. Thank you for the super chat, White Wolf. Hope you're good, brother. And Mika, I'm going to try and avoid the result because I want to go and see Mika's match. Two of the guys that were over for the Iron House 3. I love Mika. I love John. They're both top lads. So Mika is a weapon. I love his energy. Unbelievable energy in that lad. Phenomenal energy. And talking of energy, let's talk about your opponent, Genadi Kvikvinia, Jerry Larratt, because you predicted, I believe, that the Georgian would win that match. He did win that match, and we have a rematch scheduled. Now, I don't know whether the date's been made concrete, but I believe it's 26th, the weekend of the 26th of August. How do you see the rematch going, Jerry Cad?
Same way.
I love it.
Same thing, only harder.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Mate.
Yep.
I love that match.
What. Is this a flop thing? Do you think now he goes? Do you think now he goes straight for the flop? Is it just because flop to the feather?
I think he's he's a dominant force. He impressed me all around.
Oh yeah.
I've gone against both opponents, and I feel like Genadi's stronger.
Just top end power got more.
Yeah.
Tell you what. Do you feel like he's improved since he pulled you, Jerry? Do you think is he someone you're more or would be more concerned about if you meet him again?
Yeah, I mean, you'd be silly if you weren't saying you're concerned to go against the dude, right? He's a legit threat, but I think I can still pull it out. I think I'm going to be better, right? I was rehabbing a shoulder injury, but I did that stem cell shit and was able to get my shoulder back to, I'm just now starting to be able to lift a little bit heavier. And
is it going good, Jerry? Is it going good?
Yeah. Like the day I saw you, that was going to be my second time. And so, no, I'm sorry. That was my first time. That was my first time getting it. My second time I just got it was a week ago. And so I got it that first time the morning after I saw you. And that I hadn't touched any weights up until that point, and then got it. And then I rode it out 3 weeks and then started to train just real light. And now I'm just starting. I just got a second dose last week, and my shoulder feels completely healed. So if I took the bar off the bench and just bringing it forward, I felt nothing but sharp pain in my shoulder. And so it was difficult, because I had it was a slight labrum tear. And this right here is like a miracle drug, right? Because it literally accelerated the healing, and what should have fucked me up pretty good made me so I'm I'm starting to feel good now. Like I can I haven't got back up to super heavyweight. I'm just doing high reps and lighter weight. And but now I'm starting to progress and get stronger every day.
Wait till Rolly Ray is like 65 years old, but he only looks 30. And he's just finishing his 7th course of stem cells and exosomes.
Mhm.
That's the guy I want. Now that will be some good stuff. After he's
I'll open my own lab.
Yeah, Rolly's lab.
It will be called Enigma of Age.
Hey, Prepping, Jerry, we got to put you on the spot, mate. We don't get you on here much. Sorry about the old moths. Every time I come in here, I leave that window
Just so
open.
you know, Jerry, it's coming.
Oh, mate, can you imagine if you won by flop?
Oh shit! You're working on the press too?
You got it. You're pulling Engen, right? You got it.
Yeah.
It's all about the flop.
It's
All about. What? How do you see that match going, Jerry?
what, Engen and Ray?
Yeah. Don't pull punches now. Let's go.
Oh wait, the Ray's on my shit list. So fucking, if anything, it'll go the other way. You know, so guy can't even call. Still has. This is the first time he's talked to me. Right? It has to be in a public setting. Right? He needs backup.
I gotta go.
Yeah. Might want to go outside and get some color. My God. Looks like you're
I'm getting roasted. I'm getting roasted by the roasted.
roasted. Dude. I don't know. You get out in the sun, you might get fucking burnt to a crisp.
It's a day walker.
Right.
But what's the weather like in Latvia now, Ray?
He only comes out at night.
That's because the cats won't let him out in the day.
Yeah, right.
That's
But I think that's going to be an interesting match. I think Ray has something to prove, because did he even show up to that last match when he got fucking drilled by Doug? You know, so he's got some redemption he needs to pull out.
I'll have you know, Jerry Caderet, that my man Ray had been on a massive winning streak prior to that, son.
Massive winning. No, that was a loss.
I think he won. I'm going to say 16 or 17 straight back-to-back matches
before that.
Yeah, and then he lost a match. What match?
Neil, you're only as good as your last super match.
That is right. I live by that.
Only as good as your last paycheck, right? So that's the last paycheck, and it was a horrible one, right? So Ray's got to do some. He did wonderful against Ryan Bowen, right? And I was a super Ray fan then, because Ryan Bowen rooted against me and picked Genadi to win. So he was on my shit list. And then I was a big Ray supporter. I was over there congratulating him, shaking his hand. You know, pleasure to hang out with. Thought we were friends.
Yeah.
You know, talking nothing but good shit about Ray. Then one day a video pops up and it's like, you know, talks about, you know, dogging my move, him and Giannis, right?
Dogging the flop.
Yep, dogged me. And then he fucking won't call me back. So he's on the shit list. He's got to buy me a drink or something to get back on the good list.
Tell you what. So if Rolly Ray comes over now, he's like, calls you straight after this show. He's like,
I'll come with Jim and Jack and everything in between. So
yeah, and he could call you, get on the phone, and be like, Jerry, because he knows, you know, be like, Jerry, I'm coming.
I'll say, Mr. Caderet.
That's it. Can we? I'll come over your place. We'll hang out, catch a bit of sun, do a bit of flopping,
sir.
Well, I want to keep him out of the sun. I don't want the ambulance showing up.
You could teach him how to flop his press, so he's at his most devastating self when he goes in against the Enigma.
No, Ray's a likable guy. I just like to give him shit because he fucking literally dogged me.
No, you shouldn't tell this so people think this is real. We should.
Oh, wait! Come on, you can't pick on the kindergartner.
Exactly. That's what we're looking for.
My God, you get on the scale, it doesn't even register your weight.
I'm on your side, Ray.
Oh, it just shows PG-13.
I'm backing you, Ray.
It might be like PG-12.
He's not on this.
No.
Never piss off Jerry.
Hey, last like every episode I come here, people just keep roasting me. I don't know
Yeah,
What's going on?
what the hell's going on.
I got a good match for Ray. I got my 9-year-old. He's progressing.
Really?
Yeah, he's like
how is his flop wrist?
he's up to 124 pounds. It'd probably be a close match.
Tell you what, Ray, this is just
Good.
this is terrible. I can't believe you've come on here and you're getting hammered by Jerry. Just it's wrong on a lot of levels. I'll tell you, Jerry's such a lovely guy. Coming on here, tanned up, smashing up Rolly. We'll leave that for a minute.
Big
Just let
Ray
Rolly
fan.
think of a few retorts, and I'll come over to Paul Linn on this one. Oh, just before I do though, Rolly, what weight is this match actually taking place at?
Engin said he can come down to 87, 88. So that's where we're gonna be, 87, 88.
Does anybody know what he was weighing while we were out at East versus West?
Sorry, one at a time.
165.
No, that's not 165, Jerry.
150.
189.
Quick maths.
191, something like that.
191. 191, yeah.
191
Holy
pounds.
mackerel. That with what, a suit on or something? Wetsuit?
Well, I don't know what Engin weighs right now, but I thought he was like north of 95 kilos.
Yes.
Yeah,
I thought he was 95 kilos-ish.
I talked to him about it because he was talking about cutting the weight. I think he's sitting right around 90 right now.
He's around
More.
90 kilos now, is
He's
he?
more. He's definitely more. He's
I don't know. I'm basing that off of the 2 weeks and him saying he's dieting after. So I think he was about 92 or 93 when we were there.
he was.
Got Ray's like, nope, not having it.
Go. I saw him standing like this. I'm like, no.
So I'm going to just look at the White Wolf super chats that have just come in because he's loving this. He's put, Ray, ever since I'd seen Engin almost live Zurab totally out of his seat, I think you get belated by Engin. He's too old and decrepit and as many, obsequious magics ensorcelled around him. This is great stuff. Are you working on a King's?
Are you working on a King's? I'm working on a flop wrist press. That's what I'm working on.
That's right. Flop is the
working
new
on-
King's. White Wolf. Flop is the new King's. It's where everybody. It's where everybody's going to be hanging their coattails. It beats the King's move. Flop beats King's.
I want to be referred to as Jerry Jr. Okay.
Can you imagine, right? If Engin hits a King's off the start, it just kicks on and he goes, boom, just stretches out.
You know what was one of the funniest moments? Me and Mindogus were sitting there, and right before Devon starts his match, he just walks around and he does this, and the arm like it stays like this, and Min is like, what is he doing? I'm like, stretching.
Yeah. Getting ready to throw that down on your ass.
Yeah.
So another one from White Wolf. White Wolf, thanks for your super chats, mate. Much appreciated. But Jerry, I want to be on your good list. Don't care about Ray's lists. And that's a joke, Ray. Loves you. He's put, hey, Paul, chat needs to know why you are called both White Hawk and White Oak. I'm blaming Neil for one of them. Yeah, I'm responsible for the Hawk.
Yeah.
And my accent might be responsible for the Hawk.
There it is.
That
You
could be
answered.
it. I'm not
You
sure.
answered.
It could be that. It could be that, I don't speak proper English. Oh, I don't speak the fucking Queen's English, Sam.
Isn't that in fact proper English? I always thought that the British accent was
It might be, mate. It might be. But, Doug Ehrlich has come flinging in with a super chat. He's put, get him, Jerry. I want a rematch with Ray. I need a win after that butt whooping I just took. Can you
Who's
imagine?
That? Who's that?
Ehrlich, mate. It's your mate, Dougie
No,
Ehrlich.
not that. This one.
Who that? That's Paul Linn.
That is definitely Paul Linn, right?
Yeah, that's Paul Linn. The moment when he ran to the front of the stage, he said, tell me something else I can't do.
I'll make a design for you and I'll send it to you. This is something I started doing. So
Oh, you made that?
I like Ray's name now.
Yeah, Jerry, father,
Yeah.
Papa.
And Jerry becomes the flop father. Can you imagine?
Daddy
Yeah.
flopping.
You should we'll do a Jerry Caderet shirt. I'll get it sorted, mate. We'll put the flop father. And when everybody starts adopting the move, everybody will know. You know where that came from? The flop father.
I can see you listing that as one of Jerry's 17 nicknames that you give him in commentary.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hey, you listen, mate. We all know Jerry's favorite nickname.
It's the Brokeback Mountain, ladies and gentlemen.
Loves that one. After he
He
smashed
could
me
take-
to pieces at the King of the Hill, I thought, the bastard, how am I going to get him back? And we
Neil can take
I
That-
said it. I had
that-
my trainers on. Car was running.
that one you came up with, and you came up with the Ginger Dread Man.
That's a
Yeah.
good name.
He always lists them back to back too.
Hey,
Yeah.
the Ginger Dread Man is a great name.
Yeah,
That's a good nickname. That's the best nickname.
I think Flop Daddy,
The Flop Father.
Flop Father.
Yeah, Flop Father is good. You could go with Flop Father.
Flop Daddy's good too.
Top floppy dog. Right, here we go.
Hey,
Forehead taco with a super
Flop
chat.
Father, he fucks your wrist.
Mate, tell you what, he'll never come on this show again, Ray. Don't be like that. So here we go. Engin's forehead taco with a super chat. He's got to tell you, Ray has me quivering. Anyway, Jerry should have 100 times more respect than he does. Best arm wrestler in North America and top 5 globally. Well, he might go above that if he can beat Hermes. If he puts the sword to Hermes.
It's coming and broken up. Said sounded like you said if.
It sounded like he said if. Yeah, I don't know what it's meaning. When the flop father,
Floppity
Hey,
flop.
Hermes
what
has
does-
the link.
I don't speak
Join
good
the
English,
show.
so we all know that. Can someone explain to me quivering?
Quivering.
Shake.
Like this?
Yeah.
That, mate, yeah.
Oh, you meant Derek Smith. That's what you meant.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, it's not on. This show can't descend. So Doug's back in here with a super chat. He's put, Paul, hashtag tell me what I can't do, Lynn. It was a great moment, that.
That was a classic line. People are going to make that as a tagline.
Yeah. And Mika's come in with a super chat. He's put, Paul, hashtag everyone bleeds, Lynn. Yeah, they're all coming flying in now, mate. There's
Like
t-shirt
Jerry said.
opportunities everywhere for Lynn, isn't there?
Like Jerry said, though, you got to finish the job. All that running your mouth in rounds 1 and 2, you got to finish the job.
We'll talk about that at length, mate. After I'll have a word with Sasho. We'll get a date and we'll get it
The
on.
thing, remember, Paul, there's not one American won more matches than you.
That's crazy, and it's also kind of sad.
No, that was fucked up. I'm just saying is can't look down on what you did. If you ran that back again, it definitely could go the other way.
Oh my god! Yeah.
We got to do it. We got to do it at some point.
Now everybody's saying that there was no wins for the West. There was one. Mindaugas Terasatis.
Mindaugas.
We don't want him. They don't want him.
Do not
Yes,
say
we
that
do.
that man is East. He
Yes,
is
we
West.
do. He is 100%. We accept him. We'll take him over Ryan.
It's a good trade.
100%.
I accept that trade.
Trade
Yep.
is done. We're also giving up 2 our first and second round draft pick for next year to get that trade done.
Good.
That's it.
There you go.
Pleasure doing business with you.
He's very impressive. He was very impressive, I thought. I was made up for the lad. I thought
It
he was.
and he was a total dick, so it's amazing.
That's his job.
I'll leave.
That's
He's
what
awesome.
Moriarty does.
He's awesome.
Comes over, destroys your life, leaves. That's it. That's what he does.
Yeah.
But it was a win, and it was a bloody impressive win. He was really, really good there that day. Joking aside, let's just talk about this for a minute, though. Everybody had a bit of a downer on the North American team, not getting away with a single win there. Is this going to be a problem going forward? Do you think we're going to have a situation where Engin's going to have to start matching? I mean, let's take Bacho, for example. I mean, outside of yourself, Paul, probably, who the hell else would you match him with? North American. At this stage, who would you put him against? Is there anyone?
I mean, I don't know where Engin's at with Brandon, but Brandon's style can cause a problem. You're not going to deny, like, the fact that David denied him the straps was amazing to me because his back pressure is pretty good. I'd like to see that. I mean, I'll pull him when the match is offered. You know, if that's in the cards, I'm sure it will be at some point. You know, I have no opposition to that. I would love a little bit more tape to know what I'm going against. But yeah, I don't know, Jerry. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I feel like when we came into this card, all the matches were winnable, but we were all clear underdogs. So, like, I think the preparation on our side was really good. Like, I feel like pretty much everybody brought the best version that they could in the time, including Rob, who was basically off the couch.
Rob was awesome, mate. Rob can see the peak, and Rob.
I think Rob can do way better if they run it back a couple of months later. I think,
yes, I agree.
You give this guy 10 more.
I don't say he would win, but he would do much better.
10, 12 weeks, and maybe the August card, you bring him back, he's going to be a different animal. And the beauty of it too is Rob left that event with very positive energy. We talked until like 6 a.m. in the lobby. Yeah. And he left with very good energy over it. Now, he just rewatched the match yesterday. So he's talking like now he's kicking himself a little bit, seeing what he's seeing now. But I think like he's in a real good headspace. And, you give that guy time, where he can be. So I don't think necessarily like anyone should be shaken by that card specifically. It just so happened that, we were underdogs and we didn't come through, but I think when you enter guys into the card like Jerry, you know what I mean, John, depending on who he's against, when you put like more of the top proven guys on the card, I think it balances out a little bit.
But Zilla's another one, isn't he?
Yeah, Todd, are you kidding? Yeah, definitely 100% Todd. Like there's a bunch of names that still can be added to that to really beef it up. But what the scary part is once you start coming down to the title matches. So like in the super heavyweights, we're very, very competitive with several guys, right? Like, Jerry, Dave, Devon, whoever, Michael, depending on where he's at. Like we're very competitive in the supers. When you get down into the lighter weights, that's where it gets hairy. And then once Engin starts getting the best guys from the East in the title matches, that's where it gets hairy. It gets hairy right at the top of the food chain. Yeah. I think when you talk about like matchmaking, like, against quality opponents, I think that there's quality opponents to be made on the undercard. But once you get really close to that, like main event, those main event matches, that's where it gets really hairy in the lighter weight classes.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, mate. It's going to be interesting now to see where Engin goes with some of the matches, though, because I do feel like shortly you may have to start matching. I know the title of the event is East versus West, but I think also from a fan perspective, people might want to see some more of these. I mean, look at Ongabayev and Zirakashvili. Everybody wanted to see it anyway. Yeah. And that was another banger.
Yeah, you have to have the East versus like if the top contenders are from the East, they should still get a shot. Like, I mean, or like maybe it's something where we get to a point where we have like a contenders list and you work your way up. I don't know how that necessarily works, but title matches are what they are. Like main card matches at the end are what they are. And, we can do the East versus West stuff in the undercard. And if we don't deserve to be there at the lighter weights, then so be it. Like, we have to get better at the end of the day. That's it.
Well, it's funny you say that, mate. If you trace the thing back to, I mean, look at the other way when it was back in the days of the Golden Bear. And the US would go over to Russia and dominate, and just put the boot in the ass of the Eastern team. And what happened? Yep. The Eastern team responded, champions response. The bar goes up.
Yep.
And you have to chase that bar. And there's something in that when the bar is raised, and the other side, you know, that people around the world can always then meet that bar. You think, wow, somebody attains a level. Lavan's that guy right now. He's moved the bar up, and who can get there? Who will be the guy to step up? And there's always one. There's always one will come, and then before you know it, there's four. You know, and then.
You know, that's a good point, because I think like the guys who've been invited to East versus West thus far, or on the radar to be invited, I think everybody's kind of upped their level. They've upped their professionalism. They've upped their training approach. You know, their willingness to cut weight if needed, and control diet, things like that. I think we've upped our level, but we're just not there yet. I think, to me, one of the most frustrating things is, like, you know, I work with Angan on coordinating these East versus West qualifiers over here. And we got a lot of names that didn't show up. You know, and like, I'm like thinking to myself, like, here's your ticket. Like, let's go, guys. Like, let's turn out. So we're actually going to do a last chance qualifier right before the event to fill the slots so that we have the full 18-man brackets. Yeah. So if anybody's listening out there and you're a top dude, you got another crack at this. It's $1,000 per weight class, first, second, and third, 500, 300, 200. That alone, you know, that's right and left hand. Plus the right hand winners get a main card event. Like, so like, if you're one of those dudes that are out there, like, please come to this event, not to prove yourself, but like, if you're that dude, then come here and show yourself so we can go over and represent, because we're going to be facing the winners of the West. And I mean, I feel a little level of patriotism about this, and I want to do well. You know what I mean? So come on, get out. Rankers, like, come on, let's go, guys.
100%. And also,
the winners of West will face 3 Latvians. We know that.
Yes, we do know that.
Hey, joking aside, the Latvians are Team West anyway, and there's a couple of them that can come off the bench and do very well. You know, Sandra Sheris being one of them, Rolly Ray being another. Very soon. Also, emerging talents. I mean, you know, a couple of the guys that pulled in the nationals yesterday look very impressive. Obviously, Tom's at the moment on a bit of a rich vein of form over in Latvia. Looks really, really strong. Yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing him at some point getting out in at East versus West, and others. You know, it's good to see Norman's back on the table yesterday as well. Vlad the Destroyer is another one. We'll probably see him there at some point. So yeah, the talent is out there. Let's just catch up on some super.
Hey guys, I gotta leave. I'm trying to get my sleeping schedule better so I can at least
try. You've got a chance to go and train with the Flop Daddy.
Yeah, Flop Daddy.
Yeah,
I gotta roll too, guys. I'm gonna leave you to it. I got a brisket that's resting right now.
Oh, it's romantic evening between Jerry and Neil. Good luck,
that's
boys.
All right, we can handle it, son. Don't worry about that, guys. Thank you very much, and have a great one.
Take care, guys.
So let's just pick up Silky Wilkie's chat here. So here we go. Silky Wilkie's, but Neil, you commented in the moment, but can you give more detail on how Ongabayev utilized the fly fisherman? Seemed like shooting hook to regain hand height, followed by isolating Rackley's elbow to one side of the pad. Silky Wilkie, yeah, to be honest, mate, the fly fisherman is a concept rather than a specific one-off move. But the manner in which I used to like using that is basically a palm press, hard palm press to a pop. And it's really, really good for recovering hand and wrist position. If you're in a situation where you're becoming stretched out and extended and you start to lose your hand, it's very unexpected with the back pressure. Keep that side and back applied, then pop up with the shoulder, press the palm in hard, literally force and press, and then pop over the thumb. Really, really effective technique. Excellent use of it there from Ongabayev. Ongabayev at the moment, I'm biased because I like seeing really good arm wrestling, really technical arm wrestling. And for me right now, I'm going to say nobody's doing it better. I think the guy is really sharp. He's really on his game. He's as good as it gets right now. I mean, you got to be impressed with that, haven't you, Jerry? He's well-rounded as hell.
Well, I said from day one that kid has really impressed me on and off the table.
Yeah.
Super polite. You never really catch him talking shit about anyone. He just, if you cut him, he bleeds arm wrestling. He's just super talented and a great puller all around. I mean,
oh, it really is.
Just watching
him. He doesn't look amazing, does he? You look at him, he doesn't look as strong as he clearly is.
I know. I said that. I was like, what? I met him in person and I was like, no way.
Mm.
But yeah, no, he's amazing.
So what did you think of the Kazakhs in general. I mean, Alijan Muratov was amazing as well in the left-hander with Cody Merritt. Did you see that going that way, mate, or did you fancy Cody for that win?
You know, it's always with me. You know, Cody has the talent. Is he practicing? Is he training? And then when I see him, you know, I question it, right? Because he has the tools to be a really good arm wrestler, but I just don't know his level of training. And I mean, I'm not one to talk, right? Because I get lazy too. But if he applies himself, I think he has more talent. I just I seen him at the match, and he's getting winded really quick, really easy. So to me, it's like he didn't work on stamina. And I mean, you know, his physical shape could always be better, but he just to me, I think he's got to come in a little bit more conditioned.
So, mate, we'll just catch up with a couple of super chats, and then I want to focus a bit more specifically on the whole heavyweight thing. I think that's important. So we got Devon. Oh, Devon's classy finger. Met this guy where we were out there. Really nice lad. He's put. Oh no, almost missed it. How are you today, boys? Mate, really good. Good to see you dropping in. Not a long one tonight, but a solid one. So much going on in the world at the moment. It's ridiculous. We've just come off the Dark Card 2. Just a reminder, guys, also, Dark Card 2 for members will be next Saturday. That's the 20th of May. And we'll be putting one Freeview match out first and then into the main card. So any Arm Wars YouTube channel members, all tiers of member, the lowest tier is the £6 tier. All tiers of members will get to see that. Going to be some shocks and surprises in there. Tune in. There are some stupid matches in there. You'll see what I mean. So Arm Wars Dark Card 2 coming very soon. That's the 20th. Some really solid stuff in there. Check it out, guys. So Devon's classy finger again. He's put, Paul, where is your new cap? Oh, mate, sorry, I've literally just seen that as he's left us. Do apologise, brother, but I know he'll be checking in. Let's get over to the heavyweight thing, mate. I wanted to just pick this up with you, and we've got to go straight to the Dave Chafee Rivas match, because that was, for me, the sort of holy shit moment of the night. And amongst the night of holy shit moments, that was the one in the heavyweight division for me, because who the hell has beaten Dave Chafee like that before in that fashion?
You know? I know.
I've seen Travis beat him quick with the pace and just put him to bed, but it was kind of like nonchalance, wasn't it, with Rivas? Any inside info on that one? You spoke to anybody? Did you know, was Dave fully fit as far as you were aware? Was any issues?
That's right. I said afterwards, I wanted to talk to Dave to see, did he just go? Because we know Dave, right? He's super stubborn. He'll say yes to any match, even if he's battling ailments or if he's sore training or whatever. And, you know, Dave's son is getting bigger, right? So he's active. I think he's in baseball right now, as my son is. And so is he occupied, right? And I don't know, right? And I'd love to talk to Dave to see what happened, right? Because I've never seen anyone be strong enough and fast enough to go through his power and pressure, other than when he went against Levon, right?
Yeah.
I know that Rivas is not Levon because we saw Artem beat Rivas, and then we saw Dave go the distance with Artem, right? Yeah. So I think Dave was off that day, right? And I don't think the Dave that we know and love is the one that showed up that day.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because he's right around the corner imminently at King of the Table, where he'll face a match that we all know that Dave will not want to lose. The match against No Limits Devon Larratt. Dave and Devon have got history. The trash talk's already started, as it always will. But that there is a little bit of personal twinge there. It's not the usual, you know, bat and ball stuff. There is genuinely a little bit of needle there. How do you see that match going, Jerry?
Well, you got to remember that match is going to be a lot of let's say, built up emotion that's still there, right? Because the last time we went against each other, you were there, and that was difficult, right? And it should be to see who's number 2 in North America, that battle, right? And you like that, right? And so I'm sure neither guy wants to lose, and they're both going to want to win. But the Dave that showed up against Artem better be the one that shows up against Devon.
Yeah. And if you've got $100 in your back pocket, mate, where's it going? What score line? It's a 6 round, obviously, so it's more endurance based.
Yeah, and we know that Devon is the endurance king, right? So I wouldn't want to bet on that match. I bet on myself, right, to win. But with the 2 of them, I like Dave because he's super strong, but I like Devon because of his endurance and Devon's knowledge of arm wrestling, right? And he knows what he needs to do to be able to win. And he studies it. He dissects it. He's a professor. And I think that's going to be challenging for Dave. So I think, and mark my words, right? I think Dave's going to win 2. And I think Devon wins 4.
You see Dave as dangerous early then? So you think it's the first 2, really?
I think Dave's going to win the first 2, and then just historically, and believe me, I want Dave to win them all. You know, I truly do. Dave's, an American. I want him to win. And, I tried to get together with Dave to train with him, right? Mm-hmm. I would love to work with Dave, whatever. But I don't, I know he's busy. I know he's got, life that always comes first. Yep. We say it's family, work, then arm wrestling. But so I get it. But I just think it's a lot to chew off. And Devon looks big. Devon looks strong. Devon looks healthy. Devon, is going in the right direction. I think Devon, if he stays in the 250 class, there's no one in the world that's going to beat him. Devon at 250 is number 1, right? It's just when Devon goes up into that next category, he's going against people that are super strong. And no matter what his skill set level is, he's having trouble beating the big variation of strength that the other person has. Because knowledge, there's no one that's going to be more knowledgeable than Devon or more talented than Devon. It's who's going to be stronger than Devon. Is that strength going to be enough to overcompensate Devon's, proficiency in what he needs to do? And I think Genadi had a better balance, right? Where his strength was, far superior than Devon, and he had enough knowledge to be able to stay in there. And it was amazing to watch him in a position where Devon was at his strongest, and Genadi helped him.
Yeah, I think I am extremely. I kind of disagree a little bit. I think that Devon can win the rematch. I think with a few tweaks. I think Devon made a couple of mistakes, couple of errors. Who the hell doesn't do that?
You also picked Devon to win the first round.
Yeah, I still believe he would have won the first round, Jerry, if I'm honest. I think there was a couple of weird calls there. That's my honest assessment. But
I don't think with you, but the calls are the calls, and they happen. What it is.
I also feel like Devon was in control early, maybe backed off the gas a little bit at a time, underestimated Genadi. And I also think if you are operating on effectively the right-hand side of the elbow pad in that kind of situation, you put yourself in a lot of danger, because Genadi doesn't go away. He's made his career out of not going away. I mean, early in the match, when we were doing the commentary, I think Travis said, this is absolutely over. And I said, well, what I can say is that Genadi needs to get onto the A side with the press. If he can get onto the A side, he can win this match, but he needs to be on the A side. Don't let Devon be on the B side with Devon maintaining the height. Next round, off the start, in comes that booming press. Now, it's interesting because when Genadi pulled Hermes, one of the things we were talking about at that time was where's the press? We didn't see it come out. We didn't see him go for the press start. a move that in the past, if you trace his sort of lineage back, he was the guy that would utilize the press. He was one of those guys that had it in his arsenal and is confident to use it, yet seemed to have got away from it a little bit. My God, it came back hard. He'd obviously done his homework. He obviously prepped for Devon. He thought he was going to see the extreme top rolls and the Kings, and he was ready for that. But I thought he pulled exceptionally well. And speaking to Devon, Devon's got massive respect for him, thinks the rematch is going to be a screamer. And I tend to agree. I think the rematch isn't. Sometimes you see rematch and you think, you know what? Not that bothered. It's going to probably go exactly the same way and it'll be same soup warmed over. Well, if it's same soup warmed over in this instance, let's go. Because that was an entertaining match all day long, you know. I get it. I think if it was to go the way you're saying there and he was to beat Devon again, then you probably let it lie at that point. But I do think there's a possibility that match flip-flops a few times. I think on any given day, either one could beat the other, you know, and they could be sort of a bit of a nemesis for each other for a while now. I think they're very, very close and very similar in a lot of ways, you know.
I
probably push each other on.
Going to come down to the last match again, and I think that Devon's biggest mistake was pissing Genadi off. Right? You don't piss a lion off and then jump in the cage with it. Right? If anything, when he had him in the beginning and then he was trying to burn him out, and he told Genadi to quit. Right, and he was yelling Opana, right, at him. I think he should have just tried to finish him rather than trying. Right, and when he did that, it was like Genadi found a second gear.
Yeah.
Right, and said, "Nope, my pride's on the line." And for him, his pride is huge, you know. And I have lots of respect for Genadi, and for him to reach down, find that other level, and come back and make it happen, that's intense.
Yeah, I mean, he did one thing that he's always done really impressively throughout his career is grow into arm wrestling matches. I mean, I used to love to watch him, as did probably everybody else who was a real arm wrestling fan throughout the world, because he would be so intense in matches. And if he stopped the match, he was the guy that used to look into the crowd and shout all sorts of stuff, almost like a Georgian version of a young Michael Todd, you know. There was a couple of guys did it at the time. Artem Tarnoff was another one. Tarnoff would turn into the crowd, shout some stuff, just like Genadi. I had no idea what they were saying, but it transcended language. It didn't matter. You didn't need to know what he was saying to know that he meant it, and it was visceral as hell. And it's exciting. You know, he'd then come back from the death, pin the thing, and run off and do a bloody knee slider on the stage. He was really excited, and that's why we wanted him at the WAL. When we were matchmaking for the WAL, this was, funny enough, you were going to be the first one. We had him matched up with yourself first. And then his next match was going to be Devon, if you remember. So COVID scrapped the world, but prior to that, that was a match we wanted. And you look at your match with Genadi, it was friggin' amazing. Absolute career ender. That was awesome. I'd love to see that run back. I think this next one with Dev will be awesome again. You know, I really, really do. And in your future, I'm sure Devon features pretty heavily there. We'll see that again. It's going to be a bloody exciting time. And the other thing I wanted to mention to you was, who's got most pressure coming into this match now? Bearing in mind what just happened at East versus West. Dave got cracked by Rivas badly. Devon gets beaten by Genadi. Does that put more pressure on Devon because Dave got beat so bad? There's a lot of chat thinks that.
I thought the same thing as what you're saying. And I think historically, when's the last time, and you're probably better at stats than me, when's the last time Devon's ever lost 2 in a row?
I think back, bloody hell.
I couldn't remember. I was trying to think for the last week when this was announced, and I couldn't remember that Devon going to 2 super matches and losing both in a row. He always comes back strong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rare. It's happened, but it's rare.
I don't know if it has. If you know, then I was literally trying to think of all the super matches that Devon ever lost. And then the next one, you know, to find out if he lost, and it's not. I couldn't
He's the kind of guy that makes adjustments well, isn't he? You know, and also through even when Devon has had losses, there's been some circumstances behind them that, I mean, with all arm wrestlers, you can say that, you know, you
Yep.
can say, oh, this guy had an issue. You know, Devon had a period of time when he was recovering from surgeries and things like that, where he wasn't really on the read. But since he's been fully functional, he's been on a tear. He lost the weight. He went down. He looked dominant at that weight class when he pulled against Sandra Shedis. Incidentally, for anyone who doesn't know, we've just released the full film version of the Sandra Shedis Devon Larratt dark card match, the original dark card match from January. We released that on Friday, so that's available now, free to view if anybody wants to see that. Dark card 2, obviously, next Saturday. So in the build up to that, we've just released the first one against Sandris. And at that point, Devon looked amazing, unbelievably strong at that weight and huge at the weight, you know. When he was around that sort of 115 kilo mark, he was monstrous. Now, as you say, when he goes up and he's against the bigger boys, different level of top end strength. And that can call endurance into question. Also, I think when you're pushing to put the weight on, as Devon obviously has, I think there's a trade-off. You know, I think there's a trade-off in endurance. So his natural endurance level probably drops a little bit. And Genadi Kvikvinia has been known for endurance himself. So many times he's outlasted guys. And even if you think, okay, well, it's not down to just being in that position, that single position for a long period of time. One of the ace cards that Genadi's always had is versatility. He can change up his move from round to round. I know that was difficult with Devon because he was kind of forced to go flop. But he is not lacking heart. He is not lacking desire and tenacity. And just look back at his career. So many times he's been in these screaming hellfire matches. And if you look back at when he stops a match, he gets the brakes on, not many people have beaten him in that position. You're actually one of them. But not many people have outlasted him. The same can be said of you, in a way. How many times have you been in those grinding death wars and lost you in your career?
No, I said the same thing.
Not many.
Not many at all.
You know, and I do think that if you look at the flop wrist, it has some has some King's move style similarities in that it's a very awkward match to defeat, or very awkward style to defeat when a match has stopped and turned into a barn burner. Because it's almost like the guys who are really proficient at pulling flop wrist are used to pulling ugly. They're not worried about the fundamentals. They're not worried about the hand and wrist. They don't feel like they have to have everything engaged. It's a jointy style. It's a jointy technique. But my God, it's effective. You get a good flop wrist presser, super dangerous. Super dangerous. And Genadi's got it. You've got it. There are a few guys who got it nailed on. We even saw Devon go towards it for a while, though not with the same level of proficiency. And it was sort of a last chance saloon rather than a starting point like yourself, you know.
Yep.
But I think in the rematch, and I wanted to ask your opinion on this, do you think Genadi will just go for it straight out of the gate? Round one?
No, I don't think so. I think Genadi is a well-versed competitor that he'll be ready to break into it quicker, but I don't think he starts with it. It's tough to start with it unless, like I said, you're fully committed and you're going to go to that move. And I don't think that's his go-to move. I think that's his secondary move.
Yeah. So you think it's one that he'll try and go orthodox first, see what kind of bite he gets then, and then move on to the flop if he needs to.
And I think what he should be focused on is how to transition quicker and how to be more explosive when he does transition from when he's going to commit to go to the flop. You know, if he does a little more explosion, then what he did in that meet was he didn't go with it with explosion. He went into it and then drove into it.
Yeah.
You know, see him explode into it and see what he does. Not against me though.
I can't wait for that match. I'm just going to go on to super chats. We got NWUK1. Now, NWUK1, you sent a super chat last week, mate, and I missed it at the end of the show. I want you to send me over your address, please, buddy. I'm going to send you a shirt as a bit of a sorry. He's a big supporter of the channel, as is Silky Wilkie and a lot of these guys. I just want to fire you something over, mate. So NWUK1 first. Apologies for missing your super chat last week, mate. Literally didn't see it until the show had finished. Genuinely apologise. and send me over your address, mate. PM that over to me. I want to send you something over on that one. So he's put, joining late, gonna rewind, but just showing my support. Looking forward to seeing Jerry's next match. Cheers, mate. And yeah, Jerry's next match is going to be a frigging barnstormer. Where's your confidence at, Jerry, with Hermes?
Well, I'll tell you, my concern was to get healthy and healed, right? And I feel like I've established that. Now my focus is I have just under 11 weeks. It was 11 weeks yesterday. So to get strong and build it back on, the good thing is muscle has memory and it should come back relatively quick. Yeah, I've been lifting with lighter weights for the last couple of weeks and progressively going to just incrementally get higher. And I want to get within halfway to the match from now till halfway. So about 5.5 weeks from now, I'd like to back at my max and try to push it so it's higher, right? And I'm not looking, I don't do anything for one. I don't give a shit what I can do one time. I care about what I can do repetitively in what's the heaviest weight I can do 10 to 12 times. How many what can I do 35 times? What can I do 50 times, right? And that's always been me because I want to be ready for wars. And I think this should come down to a war, right? Because I think Hermes is legit. He's a great all-around competitor.
Oh, he's mega.
And he's super likable, right?
Yeah,
so,
great lad. Love him.
But so I have to be ready. And I think in order for me to be ready the way I want to be, I get in. I don't know who's going to be more explosive, him or me, but if he's more explosive than me, I just need to be able to make sure I block his hit. If I'm more explosive than him, I want to be able to bring the house down on him, right? And then make it so it's going to be an all-day event. And I want to break him down on his endurance and be able to outlast him. And I think that's, something that I've been fortunate enough to have in my arsenal a long time because I've outlasted the longest of matches and with, the best of competitors.
You really have. I mean, the how long was the WL match with Mike?
7 minutes.
And the match with John on Venice Beach was another one that was a burner.
Yeah. 3.5 minutes.
Stupid matches. So yeah, you've battle tested without a shadow of a doubt. And if you can get the breaks on, that will be very, very interesting to see. Can you imagine if you turn that around after what's happened with Levan?
I visualize it every day, Neil.
My God. Tell you what, that will be very, very exciting stuff if that goes that way. So let's just catch up on Super Chat. Silky Wilkie, thanks for your Super Chat, brother. He's put, you think if Devon stops Dave in the middle, he will fire Dave up? I believe so, mate. Yeah, he's put 3 years of seething, culminating in a milk toast showing. I think not. Devon will egg Dave on for sure if he feels Dave is holding back any bit. I think, and correct me if you think I'm wrong here, Jerry, but I think that one will kick off big time before they even get to the table. I kind of think that Devon might up the ante in the match with Dave more than he's ever done before, because the last time out, they had that little bit of a ding-dong beforehand, and when we were in the room at the WAL, it was genuinely intense. So,
absolutely. I agree with you, Neil. I think that this is going to be, and we all know Devon loves to have a good time with it too. So
yeah,
look at him to be building this up and egging him on. And Dave's the type of guy that he stays rather quiet and he builds off it, but Devon has a way of getting under Dave's skin, right? And I think he's going to get Dave and will be an explosive version of Dave that's going to be pissed off, which you don't really see. Dave's historically a really nice dude. But Devon brings out the other side of Dave, which, I want to see.
Now, wasn't it Dave I think Dave was the original protagonist here. He actually, back in the day, was kind of pissed off with Devon, and he said some stuff about Devon. Devon reacted, and then it turned a bit hairy. I think that's where it originally came from, isn't it? Dave was interviewed after a match, chose to talk himself into a match with Devon, which was great to see. And ever since then, it's gone off, And
I think it's going to be fun either way.
Yeah. And you know where I'm going with this, mate. We've just talked earlier on today about the fact that Engin's going to have to potentially start doing some East versus East matches. North American crop, you know the match I want. Yourself and Devon at Arm Wars is the one I'm angling for big time. It's so overdue. We've tried to do it a number of times, and I really think it makes all the sense in the world because of the background, the story, and the legacy that you two guys have, and the fact that you are both West pullers. But let's just say there's been some talk the other day about, okay, Devon versus Dave for #1 in North America. And everybody, when that comes out, say, well, Jerry's never beaten Dave. Is there a little bit of you that thinks you want the shot at Dave just because of that, to sort of silence that doubt?
I like
you
Dave.
love Dave.
I like Dave a lot, and I consider myself a friend of his. I consider myself a fan of his, and we've only competed one time right-handed, where I lost at the WAL, right? One time, and you know, it is what it is. We went to, you know, and I get it. It's practice. It's whatever, right? But we went to Gillette Stadium, right? And I just come back from Mexico that morning, and to go and do exhibition rounds with him, and go review the tape. It definitely goes the other way, right? And I think, you know, and I'm always going to be confident myself, and I'm not trying to, you know, be a dick or be whatever, but I obviously believe in myself, and I think that I'm a different person than the time that I went against Dave after having a long dragged out match with Tim Breslin, right? And I beat Tim easy early on, and then Tim got me into a position where I had to try and struggle because I went the wrong way, and expecting to be able to blow through Tim easy in the championship round. And it didn't go that way, and it ended up being a barn burner. And so I had to beat him in order to win my bracket. And then that bracket was going against the winner of the other bracket, which was it was Dave and Mike Aiello that went, and Dave went through Mike with ease. So now me and Dave go for the championship the following day. And listen, I'm not taking anything away. Dave was better that day, right? But I was beat up. So whatever, right? It is what it is. I went up to the table. I took the loss, right? I tried, and I had nothing left in the gas tank, right? So I guess I didn't bring the best version of myself to that meet. But Tim was good back then. To have anyone say Tim wasn't good back then, they're insane, right?
Oh yeah,
so
bloody hell, really strong.
So if you get into a 1 or 2 minute match with someone and you're straining as hard as you can, you know, have that person come tell me that, you know, the best version of Jerry went against Dave, right? But whatever, it is what it is. You know, Dave's a good guy. I like him a lot. I'm confident in my ability, and I think that I am the clear #1 in North America. You know, I beat Genadi. They couldn't beat Genadi, right? So
here's a question for you, mate. Obviously, we know that if you are to be successful against Hermes, the next logical step has to be Billabong.
Yep.
And yet, there are a number of beyond belief exciting matches that you've never had. Rhyming off just a couple. We talked about it so many times here on this show over the years. Scary, it has actually been over years as well. But also just when we've been chatting backwards and forwards, we saw him make a good return on the left arm the other day. Vitaly Lalatin. Pissed myself off the other day. Started calling him Lalatin. No apparent reason. You know, when you watch something back and you're like, what the are you talking about, Fatty? Straight up. Watched it back. Swear to God, I'm saying Lalatin. Don't know why. Lalatin. So anyway, here's what it is. But Vitaly, let's call him Mr. X. Great match. You could be the acid there. You could be the bogeyman. You know, and because he's so proficient at the top role may have that serious weakness there. So many guys he's going to cause problems because of the height, because he's going to take their hand out of the game. You obviously don't care about that. Do you feel like you're the worst stylistic match in the division for that guy?
For him, I do. You know, I mean, I don't think again, I haven't gone against him. I'm confident in my ability, and I don't think that match. I'd be surprised if I didn't win 3-0.
Yeah, I know that when we've talked about it in the past, you've always said, just watch what because at the time he was ranked as number 2 overall, and you were like, yeah, watch what I do with this guy. He's tailor-made for me. And it's a match that, again, in the WL, we would have loved to put together. I'd have loved to have done it in Arm Wars. It's just a great matchup. I'm sure that is coming in your future, regardless of the outcome of Hermes, regardless of any of them further outcome with Laban. Let's focus on the more prominent match. So you get through Hermes. What is your ideal timescale for a crack at Laban? When would you want that?
3.5 months. 2 weeks to rest, 3 months to train.
And your date for the Hermes match is what?
29th of July.
Ooh. So it is conceivable that we see that match this year.
Hell yeah. I want it to happen.
And what excites you right now, Jerry? You've been in this game for ever. You know, you've got the match with Lavan this year. You take that. Is it then Larratt? Is it Morozov? Is it who's the guy that you think I'd love to pull that dude?
Are you talking about after Lavan? Yeah, I get Lavan, and if that match goes my way, then you'd be sitting at the head of the table. So whoever's earned the next spot to pull, I could care less who it is at that point, right? Because I will have already proven I did what I wanted to do and reclaim the king of the table.
Stylistically, who's your most dangerous opponent, do you think, from the chasing crop? So if we include in that conversation all the usual suspects, you've got to put Rivas in there as well. Obviously, we know you've gone to war with Genadi Kvikvinia. He's resurgent right now. Is it Devon? Who's the guy that gives you the most trouble stylistically?
I would anticipate, after pulling Genadi and knowing that his dedication to training is, his level increased. I think that would be a match that would have to happen again. Then another person I'd like to pull, but I think I would do well at, would be Alex.
Another one. Holy shit! There's so many.
Yeah, but he's more of a top roller as well. He's got a big arm, but he's more of a top roller.
Yeah.
So the focus is get through Hermes, and then
is Hermes the most? Do you think he is the most dangerous stylistically out there? Because a lot of people do, Jerry. A lot of people think that Hermes might be the worst stylistically for you because of that pace, because of the fact that he'll engage on the arm. And I'm leaving Lavan out of that equation because you'd have to say it's got to be Lavan's the most dangerous because the man's a frigging animal. But of the chasing pack,
I think Lavan is the most powerful. But as for weapons, I think...
Do you think he's stylistically easier than Hermes?
Yeah. I think Hermes is going to have more tools in the toolbox, and he transitions well. He can adapt. He can change. I think Lavan has more power than anyone I'd ever going to go against.
Yeah.
But I think right now he's able to use that power, and he just rips through people. But I look at him as leaving the lane open for me to dive in, right? Yeah. So the focus would be, though, I can't allow my hand to get to his side of the table. I'd have to have more control and turn and be able to bring my shoulder around right? Rather than pushing over. Anyone else, I can push over, and even if my arm is, I can be open and still effectively do my move. I don't think I can effectively do my move if I was open this much with Levon, right? Because we know that this gap is going to make me less strong, whereas this gap, there's no one beating me, right? So I would just have to focus on that, and it would be a little bit more challenging. But I don't know. Like I said, the first goal is just to get through armies, and he's younger. He's goes to the gym more. He's got a lot of boxes that can be checked off.
Yeah.
But in the end of the day, he's not as strong as me, and it's going to come down to I've got more years than he's been alive competing, and so I'm going to rely on experience, and I'm going to rely on overall strength.
Yeah. We are now in a situation where you've been arm wrestling at this level for got to be over 30 years.
34.
Are you enjoying this as much as you ever did?
Yeah. To me, it's you're still holding on, right? And it's
you're holding on pretty well.
Yeah.
It's at the top edge, mate.
So it's a sport that I love, and it's the people that make this sport fun. And as it grows bigger, it only becomes more fun, right? I mean, Neil, you and I were doing this shit when these other people weren't even born. They weren't even a twinkle in their dad's eye, and the reach wasn't there. Right now, look, we're talking through phones, right? And we're able to get in front of countless numbers of people. And so as the base grows and more people jump in, it's unfortunate that it happens as I'm older, right? And not a young buck.
Isn't it? I think that every day. It's like, I bet John Brezink thinks that every damn day.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you were John and you're thinking, oh my God, I dominated this thing for so long. And then just as I'm in my 60s, it starts to really fly. It's like, it's cruel. Anyway, but
true.
Where's the sort of end game for you? Just I mean, we always hear for Devon Larratt, I'll pull till they throw dirt on me. Oh, are you the same ilk?
No.
Do you have a sort of end game in mind, or do you think?
Yeah, I think when I start to feel pain at a higher level, I don't think I want to push it through.
Yeah.
And so right now I'm relying on the stem cell to regenerate me, and it's working, right? So I think this is buying me some time. But when that pain, because I started to feel the pain, and I've been stuck get endure a little bit more injuries. As we get older, we're more prone to injury. And so once that pain, it starts to elevate, let's say, I periodically feel it. I feel it in my elbow. I feel it in my wrist. And so as it progresses and it becomes higher, I don't want to put myself through the pain, because then it trickles down into my work life and my family life, everything else. To me, this is a sport where we do something that we love and we enjoy. And we do it. It's mano a mano. It's, who can be the best, and, but not at the risk of not being there for my kids. I mean, it sucks. You can't bend your arms straight, right? So we go outside and I play catch with my kids, and I used to be able to throw a baseball like there was no tomorrow. I throw a baseball right now, you're going to see me on the ground crying like a little schoolgirl, right? So,
it screws you up, doesn't it?
It's crazy. I'm throwing with my left hand, right? So when I catch it, throwing it back to my kid, I'm throwing to my left. I'd rather look like a pansy and play catch than throw my right hand and then have to go right. So it's difficult, right? So, and I mean, a football, I used to be able to throw a football, 70 yards.
Yeah.
So now, if I was
That's
to try
a hell of a throw as well. 70-yard throw.
No joke, right? I got it on video, right? So, but in essence of, playing now with my kid, I'm like, damn, don't you dare go past 40 yards.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just play catch.
He's like, sure, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it all the time. Just chuck it. What? He wants me to show off. I'm like, no. I'll punt it. Let me punt it for you, but not throwing.
Amazing stuff. Let's just knock over a last super chat before we let you get on with your day, mate. So Jake Lanston, who's our competition winner for the Arm Wars Iron House 2, guessed the Devon Larratt opponent. This guy was the winner of the ultimate set of Arm Sport handles. And Jake's put in, Jerry is North America's best hope against the East, pound for pound strength. Looking forward to you brushing Hermes aside and continuing your climb. So Jake's a big fan of Jerry Carteret, Big Daddy on the march.
Thank you, Jake.
Coming. It is coming very, very soon. What a time for arm wrestling. The super heavyweights, that division is ridiculously stacked. We heard it tonight. King of the Table just launched their latest assault. Incredible card. We're going to see Engin Terzi pulling on there against Rolly Ray. We're going to see Morozov and Corey West. And we've obviously got Devon Dave on there. Massive card coming up over in Dubai. East versus West, we believe, is booked for August. Sorry, we got July and then August. The rematch in August with Devon and Genadi. Not to mention the stack card in July, which we were talking about earlier tonight. Just stupid time. Never been a more stacked time in the sport. It's exciting. Jerry Carteret is one of the stars of that sport, ladies and gents. That's the guy that's joined us for tonight. If you're not subscribed to this guy, let me tell you right now, if you made a short list of men in the game of arm wrestling who 110% deserve, and I said that for
James Statham because he loves that over 100% thing. So that should just wind him up. I know he's in the chat.
But 100% deserves your support. Jerry Carteret is that guy. This fella has sweat and toiled for over 30 years and has given some of the most entertaining and exciting arm wrestling matches of all time. End of. Get over to Jerry Carteret's channel and give this guy some support. He's one of the original rocks of the game. He is the flop father, and his name is Jerry Carteret. Get over there and get it sorted. Guys, if you see your first time tuning into Supernatural Strength, please give us a like, give us a share, give us a sub. Remember, we put the, if you hadn't seen it, Devon Larratt, Sandra Sherris, film version came out Friday. You can go and check that out now on the Arm Wars channel, completely free. We'll be going out with another film. The Left Hand film will be coming out next Friday night as a precursor for Saturday night, 20th of May, Dark Card 2. That will be exclusive for channel members. If you want to join the YouTube channel, remember you can join and then cancel if you want to. But unbelievable content coming down for our channel members. Get yourself over there if you want to see the thrilling and exciting, dramatic return of Devon Larratt into the battleground. Left-hander. We brought over some real solid pullers, rock strong undercard there as well, and some great matches. You'll get to see it. All channel members of the Arm Wars YouTube channel get to see it next Saturday night from 9:30. The channel members only. We will go behind the paywall. Prior to that, we'll have one match that's free to view to get you all in the mood, ladies and gents. I want to say a massive thanks to everybody that's taken the time to tune in, check us out, get over, sub to Jerry Cad. And yeah, we wish you all a cracking weekend, guys. We'll see you back here on The Fix next week. Until that time, biggity bong, mother fluffers. There we go. I think we are off.